Boye, how's everyone? This is Olu Fakolade of Idin Haifa Temple on this.
Aboru boye gbogbo awo aboru boye ẹ̀yin babaláwo èèyàn ìbọrù boye.
All right, Abodora Boye. So let's begin with prayer today. Thank you all for tapping in with us, all of you on YouTube, on Instagram, Clubhouse, Facebook. Good morning. So let's begin with prayer. Ashe. Mojuba Olorun, Mojuba Leda, Mojuba Loromare, Mojuba Bobo Rumale, Mojuba Bobo Male, Mojuba Boy Gun Timbili Solomare, Mojuba, Oshungwade, Mojuba Guade, Mojuba Programas, Mojuba Tom, Mojuba Flori, Mojuba Palau Corriente, Mojuba Philippe Zaloatu, Mojuba Gunjobi, Mojuba Miye, Mojurisha Molobarisha Lanko, Mojomi Tonade, Mojuba Shubi, Mojuba Bassage, Manade Fuma the first, I won't baba Tia Para Tulum. Hey, Jobe. He who hears people's pleas is set to please. He who hears people's pleas and approves the pleas. He who talks to people and ensures that the talks are completely absorbed. He who hears people's pleas is set to please and then refile. He who hears people's pleas and approves pleas and then ensure dire. He who talks to people and ensures that the talks are completely absorbed. His name for Ishanla. Or Ishanla, the person knows human beings. The person knows one cannot fail to impress one. Strike frogs on someone's rainfall. Bullfrogs on someone's downpour. It is whatever the heck a radio porn to tells our throat that they accept. Whatever the big rat tells our throat that they accept. All what I tell you, if I please accept and approve them, I share. Otorete. To show gratitude upon gratitude, solve our gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the hour of benevolence. Represents your gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such a person now see today's gratuity. These were the decorations filed to the phone of Roman 401 in Romulan when going to Mario Poe, daughter of Rishibuji. I am grateful I see my gratuity. I'm grateful for yesterday's favor. I'll see today's gratuity. Otorete. We are very grateful. I share. Àwa dúpẹ́, àwa bùrẹ́. Àwa dúpẹ́ o, àwa bùrẹ́. A dúpẹ́ àná o, a ó bùrẹ́ tún nébọ̀. Olódùmarè, àwa dúpẹ́, àwa bùrẹ́. Àwa dúpẹ́ o, àwa bùrẹ́. Arúgbó àná àwọn obìnrin tó nébọ̀ orí ẹni àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́ àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́ àdúpẹ́ àná àwọn obìnrin tó nébọ̀ ìrúmọlẹ̀ àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́. Àwa dúpẹ́ o, àwa bùrẹ́. A dúpẹ́ àná àwa bùrẹ́ tún nébọ̀ lẹ́gùn lóríṣà. Oromila, Olodumare, Irumole, we ask that you would forgive us. We call on the Odo, Eros Tutu. Pounding yam without soup can be very difficult to consume. These were the declarations of Ifa, Tutu, the child of Agbeneregun. He was full of bad character. He whose bad attitude had prevented him from entering Tifa's domain. Now come to solicit on behalf of Tutu. We've come to beg on behalf of Tutu. Father, please be patient, overlook this provocation. Those who beg on behalf of Tutu. Rumless. Those beg on behalf of Tutu. Those who solicit on behalf of Tutu. How many children does Ifa have that he would cast one out? Those who beg on behalf of Tutu. Ifa, please forgive us. We call on Odu. Lara. If we ask that you would ward off all death, ward off sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, ward off litigation, losses, outright fights, ward off illnesses from us, ward off all danger from us, ward off all the challenges, and bring forth in its place long life, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, all the good things of life. Ogbelar, Arumla says time to sleep. I echo it, it's time to sleep. When the day dawned, I met Arumla in the 16th room, where he covered his head with a flowing gown full of lice. He was wearing a dress full of bloodstains. He was snoring heavily. They told him that delegate from his attack arrived. Arumla inquired about what the delegate had brought. They told him they brought 2 rats with them running, 2 fish gracefully swimming, 2 birds swift in flight, and 2 goats with big livers. Arumla said that is nothing to wake him up. I admit my ignorance, please educate me. Motuna Karaba, I hide myself in your bosom and survive. Motuna Karaba, the dog hang masqueraded beast, Agba drum repeatedly. The dog hang masqueraded beast, Agba drum repeatedly to perform rituals because of children. You are the leaders, we are the followers. Leaders are the ones who show the followers wisdom. Arumla told them to get alligator pepper, to get cola nut, to get bitter cola, to get alcohol. The capo got the alcohol. He got the bitter cola. He got the atari. It is now that he is waking up. Arumla, when you are fully awake, please look at me through eyes of compassion. It is with eyes of compassion that the big stars use to look at the stars below. Arumla, when you are fully awake, please look at me with your eyes which help one to secure great wealth. It is such good eyes that heavenly stars use in looking at the stars below. Arumla, when you are fully awake, please look at me with your eyes which help one to secure a good spouse. It is such good eyes my spouse should use in looking at me with. Arumla, when you're fully awake, please look at me through eyes which help one to bear many children. It is such good eyes a child should use in looking at a well-decorated plate. Before long not too far, join us in the midst of all Iran life. Oshe Arula, if I would ask that you would continue to ward off our death, ward off sickness, cases, controversies, ward off fights, litigation, losses, and our fights from us. Bring to us long life, good spouse, good children, longevity, prosperity, victory over adversity, healing, joy, and all the good things of life. Oshetra. I'm kicking in Bagisa, the attract up against the tree. Cassify for room, Hughes TV by 9 share from Olodamar. If no one says be wealthy, surely be wealthy. I take in Bagisa, in the mouth of an award, Zadibana share, in the mouth of an award. If no one says you have joy, you should surely have joy. I kick in Bagisa, in the mouth of an award, Zadibana share, in the mouth of an award. If no one says you have victory, you surely have victory. I kick in Bagisa, in the mouth of an award, Zadibana share, in the mouth of an award. Notice you have all the good things of life. You should surely have all the good things of life. A kick in a bagisa, in the mouth of an hour, Zadibana she, in the mouth of an hour, to and see. So surely shall it be. Oh, Shetra. Tiny other feet of Tubu. The stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to abuse his headgear. Had it been enough to abuse his headgear, I would have taken it home and adorned my hair with it. These we find decorations to Arula. We're going on spiritual mission to Jebulan. We call on locals to pay money. We call on the salt seller and make her rich. We call on Oshearula. Oshearula is a good owl. Ashe. If I please hear all of our prayers. Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Gbogbo tí mo bá màmá wí o, irun mo lè ó bà. Ifá ó bà o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Timo duro, Timo sure, Timo baire, Timo sure, Timo kule, Timo sure, Timo joko, Timo sure, Ire Timo su oriti bo. Now, if we can hold on to our head, on this song, if I was saying, my head is my good luck charm. Orieni larure yeni o Orieni larure yeni Mojulo mi ufawa mori Orieni larure yeni Ashe Boborechasu Ifa oba Ọlọ́run Atibachaju Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run, ó ṣe àrú ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Olodumare and the divinities. We thank you for life. We thank you for health. We thank you for strength. We thank you for food. We thank you for clothing. We thank you for shelter. We thank you for all the good things in life that you have provided for us. At this time, we ask that you would remove all these negative things, remove death, remove sickness, remove cases and controversy. wars and fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights. Remove cancer, remove AIDS, remove diabetes, remove high blood pressure, heart disease, hypertension, remove COVID-19, remove all the things that might challenge us and encumber us, remove the witchcraft that stands in our way, remove our mindsets that are limited, and in its place, bring to us long life. Give us good spouses, wealth, give us good children, give us peace of mind, give us joy, give us success, give us the ability to overcome. Ashe. Ifa, please hear all of our prayers. Olodumare, please hear all of our prayers. Ashe. Ifa, please at this time we're engaging in this Ile Juba. Help the words that we are saying to reach the hearts and the minds of the people. Help this Ifa to touch people in the right way. Protect us, Ifa. Protect us. Move me out of the way. Move my ego out of the way so that we can hear a good word of Ifa today. So that we can get a good word from the source. Help so that Olodumare will speak. Help us hear Ifa speak. Ashe. And protect us. Emma kami mini amo. Emma kami mini ano. Emma kami mini adelokun. Tamu ole. Tori Ifa loni mi. Ebora timpanini. Eni banami. Ahun ati Ifa lelejo. Ashe. Ashe. Before we begin this Ile Juba Temple service sermon, I want to sing a particular song, and it is for whenever we begin to speak any word of Ifa, and we want it to be very clear. This song basically says, please let us remain silent. Let us remain cool and calm. Ifa is speaking. Ashe. Atoto, and we ado. Atoto, atoto, and we ado. Ela, Ifa fefo, indake, atoto. Ewi ado arebe atoto atoto ewi ado arebe ela Ifa fefo indake atoto ewi ado arebe Atoto, atoto, ewi ado arere. Ela Ifa fefo indake o. Ashe. Thank you all for tapping in with us. Once again, this is Oluwa Fakolade of Idinka Ifa Temple here in Los Angeles, California. Thank you. Today we're embarking on a new process. So we welcome all the folks who are listening to us via Clubhouse. Thank you for tapping in with us. Thanks for rocking with us. So this is our first time broadcasting on Clubhouse, and I think it's going well. Work with my good brother of over 20 years, Baba Adegangan. So I thank you so much for helping us out on Clubhouse today. Yeah. And I thank you all for tapping in once again on Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube, and now we adding Clubhouse to the mix. So let us get into this. So today, the sermon topic is you are your rituals. When I say this, what I'm saying is let's broaden this concept of rituals, first of all. I want us to go from the macro to the micro and analyze the perspective of the habits that we perform, the company we keep, the character that we display. Malcolm Gladwell says that what you practice for 10,000 hours is something that you master. What about the things that you do? What about the thoughts that you entertain? What about the people you hang out with? What about the company that you keep? Are these not rituals? Are these not things that we do habitually? What happens when you spend 10,000 hours, 5,000 hours, even 1,000 hours thinking a particular thought, spending time with the person, eating a particular food, developing a habit? Our habits are the things that make us. A thought is a thing. When you have a thought, there are hormones that literally secrete in your brain to make sure that thought manifests, to ensure that you have the wherewithal, the action to make sure that that thing that you thought can come to pass. So these thoughts, the things that we think, those two have energy. Those two are rituals. They are habitual. They are things that are done to bring about the manifestation of, if not our destiny, our demise. So if a thought is a thing, then the essence of ritual, ebo, sacrifice, is to have an effect on your ori, to have an effect on your mind, to change your mind. So these rituals, in essence, are geared to transform us. So when we contain and when we manifest particular thoughts, ways, actions that are antipodal, that are functioning on the antithesis of what our destiny is, we in essence facilitate our own demise through the rituals that have made us. Webster's Dictionary defines a habit as a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. So when we think about that as something that we do, that it's very difficult to perhaps give up, but we have settled on the tendency, we've settled on the reality of perhaps, doing this habitual act over and over and over and over again, excuse me. Oftentimes a habit is brushing your teeth. Habit is eating a particular type of fish. These are habits. Some people develop a liquor habit. Some people develop a smoking habit. These two are rituals. Webster's Dictionary defines a ritual as one, a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. So that's what when we think about, offering a bow and doing different things like that. That is also ritual, and those rituals as well create us. But two, Webster's Dictionary also says a ritual is an act or a series of acts regularly repeated in a set, precise manner. Like when I get ready to do temple service, I like to come in before anybody comes into my shrine space and clean it. Maybe mop the floor, sweep the floor, do all of those things, and then I might cut my hair. Literally every day before I do a temple service, and then go and take a shower. This is my ritual. This is my habit. This is what I do in order to perhaps purify the space, try to purify my mind, try to transform myself to get myself in gear so that I can do what I was put here to do. So essentially, what we're saying today is that we are the sum total of the things we think, say, do, habits that we perform, and the people that we hang out around. We are the things that make up our character. Our rituals are such. Ifa says in the Odu Ogbe Yona, Ogbe Ogunda, Ifa says anger amounts to nothing fruitful or beneficial for human beings. Patience is the father of good character. The elder that lives a life of Ifa will do so as if they are licking pure honey. This was the Ifa cast for Ori Enu and Orio Day when coming from heaven to earth. They were both advised to offer a bow. They both complied. My character, I respect you. Please do not spoil my destiny. When we think about this, our ways and actions are things that can, in essence, um, derail us. Our character can take us off our path. I always think about there are so many folks who might be in prison today, and they're brilliant. Like I'm telling you straight up, in my neighborhood, in the place I come from, you know, I grew up in an area where there were people who were gang members. You know, they're from the hood, and you would think that the people who bang a hood, who claim a set, are idiots. And no, some of these brothers and sisters were like some of the most brilliant people I've ever met to this day. But it was about their choices. It was about perhaps the rituals that they valued that got them into particular positions. The world is filled with so many people who have great destinies but made horrible choices. And in making a horrible choice, they derailed their destiny. In developing horrible habits, we begin to derail ourselves. Ifa says in the Odu Otrupon Ishokun, excessive knowledge of history is it that leads a bird to sleep inside the forest. This was the Ifa cast for Adabasusu, the dove, when going to abuse the inhabitants of Isokun as slaves. Otun Isokun is a slave, and Isokun is a slave. She was advised to offer a bow. She refused to comply. She was then driven out of the town. After this, she was saying, Otun Isokun, they have been behaving like kings. And Isokun, they have been behaving like kings. They said that she had already called them slaves. She must remain in the forest where she was. All Ifa devotees, let those who offer Ebo do so accordingly. This Ifa is talking about Adaba Susu, which is the dove. And Adaba Susu, she flew through the town. Basically, Otun Isokun means um, um, the right side, excuse me, the right side. Osi Isokun is the left side. Basically, these two towns. And the history of these areas, they have been enslaved. And Adabasusu flew through the area and she had made it a habit. She had made it a regular practice of rolling through their neighborhood and yelling out insults. She went through and was like, all y'all is a bunch of slaves. All of y'all have been behaving like slaves. You know what? You guys were slaves, so y'all still slaves. And rolling through the neighborhood. And she would just do this periodically. That was her habit. That was her ritual. And the inhabitants of Otun Isokun and Osi Isokun, they said, well, you know what? Since we slaves, let's, Dabasusu, you can't stay here. You can't stay with us in this side of the forest. You got to go to your own, you got to find another area. So they ran her out of town. And while she was out of town, while she was in another area, she began to think, and she was like lonely. Like, man, maybe there, that maybe I was wrong to develop that habit of going through the town and yelling out insults. So you know what? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say all the inhabitants of Otun and Osi Isokun, they are behaving like kings. And the people of the town decided, we're not gonna take her back. The damage is already done. As I said before, there are times when our rituals, when the things that are inside of us influence the choices that we make to the degree that you can't go back on that. Once it's out, once you've said it, now people are like, oh man, I see how you think. I see how you feel. I don't want to have anything more to do with you. And that's what they said to um to Adabasusu. So she was left to perpetually live on the other side of the forest. Why? Because of the choices that she made, and also because of the habits that she developed. She developed a self destructive habit, or a habit that destroyed other people, and other people just don't want to be around you when you are self destructive. In the Odu Ifa Idiya Tagu, Ifa says, don't be lacking in socializing your children. Do not wickedly cut down the tree that provides shade for the people. Do not betray your covenant because of the day when we will sleep without waking forever. These Rifa's decorations for Alake when going to hand over his daughter, Orisha Ejero, to Oniseri. He was advised to offer Ebo. He complied. They paid his good deeds with evil. Now, if you receive any gain in a hurry, the gain will collapse and be ruined. Elero, oh elero. If you acquire any development without due process, the development will collapse and be ruined. Elero, elero. If you if we pour water on our head, the water will come in search of the feet. Elero, elero, the head of Emo Brown Rat will never miss its path. Elero, elero, if Okan the creeper plant grows in the forest, it will come in search of the footpath. Olero, elero, if Ogan the vine grows in the forest, it will come in search of the footpath. Elero, elero, it is Ede, the shrimp, that authorizes that my daughter should return to me. Elero, elero, if we pour water on the head, the water will come in search of the feet. Elero, elero. Ifa is saying so much in this Ifa verse. When Ifa says that we cannot, do not lack in socializing your child, what does that mean? Ifa is saying, don't lack in raising your child correctly. Why? There's a cause and effect. The ritual of raising children. If we raise our children incorrectly, we will be doomed to peril. Ifa also says, do not wickedly cut down the tree that provides shade for the people. Why? If you cut this down, then no one will be able to have any shade. It's like living in this American environment and people are digging into the ground, digging up all the oil, and with no regard for humanity. And now killing whales, killing sea life, and all of a sudden, the 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 energy that was put out into the world is now coming back. We have global warming. Ifa is saying on this Odu Ifa that every action has its cause and effect. If you develop good habits, then your life will reflect that. You are the sum total of what you do, the rituals that you create. Ifa says, if you pour water on the head, it's going to come looking for the feet. What goes up, if it's up here, it's going to eventually come down. What you put in is going to eventually come out. Ifa is saying so much. If you want to be successful, you have to put success on your brain. You have to begin to take an active role, an active attitude in bringing about your own healing, health, and transformation on spiritual, physical, mental, all of these levels. These are the things, these are the habits that we should create as Ifa followers. Ifa also says that you need to be aware of the company that you keep. So we've talked about this from your own from actions, taking specific actions. And that's good. Thinking particular thoughts. That's good. Raising your children to be wise people. That's good. But what happens when you do all that good stuff and now you're hanging out with people who don't value the things that you value? Ifa says in Idi Maluko, if we have inner wisdom and fail to apply it, we become ignoramuses. If we have strength and fail to utilize it, we will become like drones. These was the Ifa cast for those who fail to associate with the wise and move with the workers. And for those who become friends of the dregs of society. Orunmila reprimanded them as follows: he who refuses to move with the wise and fails to befriend good people, it is only misfortune that such an attitude will bring. Ifa is saying very clearly that the people that are around us, the people that we surround ourselves with, are also the manifestation of a particular habit or a particular choice that we're making. The people that we surround ourselves with are also a reflection of who we are. You want to be around people who elevate you. You want to be around people who support you. You want to be around people who share the same values. You can't if you value success, morality, and joy, you can't hang around with people who commit adultery and all day and do their very best to lie, cheat, and steal in the world. That's counterproductive. At some point, you will be considered one of them. At some point, we will be considered just like the company that we keep. It's they have their own aura and we have our own aura. And on a certain level, at a certain point in time, those individuals that we hang out with, their aura will begin to influence our aura, and vice versa. So Ifa is saying it is best to hang out and be around folks who will do their best to support and uplift what you're doing or what we're all doing. Ifa says in the Odu, "Aworin Shogbe, Shuba," a blacksmith does not know how to mold a hall. This was the Ifa cast for Laibo Ojora, the toad, whose friend was Konko, the bullfrog. Um, and his friend, the bullfrog, would destroy his fortune. He was advised to offer a bow. Behold, Laibo will be installed today. We shall all be welcoming you while you pay your respect, and welcoming you while you pay your homage. So this Ifa story is very interesting. There is the name of the toad was Laibo Ojora, and Laibo the toad was a prince, and he would soon become king. And he was friends with a bullfrog, and the bullfrog was a trumpeter, the individual who would run tell that in the community. Everything that would go out, anything that was done in secret or whatever, that bullfrog would be the one to be like, "Oh, I saw the king. He's tripped and fell." This was the trumpeter. This was the one who announced everything. So when the toad's father died, all the people of the town agreed that the toad should be, or Laibo Ojora should become the next Oba. The toad went for Ifa consultation, and Ifa told the toad that you must be very, very careful. You must be very, very aware of who your friends are, and beware of your friend. And Laibo Ojora thought to himself, well, you know what? My friend, there's the bullfrog. That's my homeboy. It doesn't matter. Ifa doesn't understand this. That's my buddy. That's my best friend. So he refused to listen. And on the eve of his installation to be king, his friend brought out his trumpet and was telling everybody, "All hail the king. The Laibo Ojora is about to be the king. He is the king. This is the king. Come through, pay your homage, bow down, kiss the ring." Basically, that's what the bullfrog was doing. And the people of the town, they thought to themselves, wow, that's an arrogant thing. So none of them thought about having a king that would ever be that kind of way. They decided, well, you know what? We don't want Laibo to be the king anymore. We see how he acts based upon the actions of a friend. Have you ever been caught up in a situation just because your homie was in some mess? Have you ever been in a situation where you were guilty by association? Ifa is saying, be very careful of the company that you keep. Your friends in essence can influence your activities. They can influence the things that you do and you don't do. They can be the ones to do you in. I remember times when I had friends who they ran off at the mouth. And as a result of running off at the mouth too much, those loose lips sink ships, literally. Their mouth got me into trouble. So the key really is not to avoid friendship. The key is to be critical of the choices that you make. Your friends as well are a living ritual. They are a living reflection of who you are. If you want to be around good people, go to where good people are. Where would good people go? Good people might show up to Ifa temple. They might show up to Ile Juba. That might be a good place to begin a search for good people. Ifa, we have a Ifa song um that is Iniarere la wau, iniarere la umpwe. That song says we're looking for good people. So you want to have good people. Where good people hang out at? Where do you hang out at? And then if you aren't hanging out in the areas where good people are, what is that saying about you? If you aren't thinking the thoughts that good people think, that Omoduabi people think, what does that say about us? So Ifa is saying that we need to begin to move in the directions where good people can find us and we can find them. I want to talk about, lastly, making good choices because it is what we put into this world. Now, we've spoken about having a good thought process, raising children correctly or raising them in a specific kind of way. We've talked about our thoughts, our things, our actions reflect our reality. We've talked about the people that we hang out with have an influence on our life. Now, let's talk about the spirituality behind ritual and Ebo, because all of these things are things that make us. What are the ways that Ebo, that ritual, support and protect us? The Odu Ifa Ogbe Oshe, Ifa says, a slice of echo with the broad and uneven back. That was the Ifa cast for the mighty Araba tree, who was being slated to fall. He was advised to offer Ebo. Now, Kowo, may he fall. By all means, Araba has refused to fall. It is a big shame on Iroko. Kowo, it is a big shame on the king of the forest trees. Kowo, Araba has proven to be unfallable. It is a big tree. It is a big shame, excuse me, on Iroko. Kowo. This Ifa is so powerful because this story should give us some level of encouragement about the rituals that we perform. So the Iroko tree and the Araba tree are two very vast, mighty trees in the forest in Nigeria, or I even say in all of Africa. But when we think about Iroko and the Araba tree, the Iroko tree was very jealous of, the Iroko tree, and very jealous of the Araba tree, and devised a plan to destroy him. So in the process of devising this plan, Iroko had passed along a rumor that Araba tree was the best for building. Araba tree is the tree that you should build your homes out of, make lumber from, and burn as firewood. This is the best tree for that. And Iroko had told the lumberjacks, told the saw, the axe, the hammer, all of these things, go and find all of the Araba trees and take them down. Yet the Araba tree had cast Ifa. The Araba tree cast Ifa. When he cast that Ifa told him the key here is you need to offer your Ebo. I can't tell you how this is going to work, I just can tell you that it will work. But I can't say exactly what Ifa is going to do, or how exactly Ifa is going to help you to live. When we think about these things, a key aspect to the rituals that create us is having faith. And honestly, having a faith in something that might seem impossible, that might seem really strange. Have you ever gotten any news from Ifa or gotten a divination of Ifa on a subject that you were very worried about? Something that really troubled your mind to the point where you had to cast Ifa. And then when you got the message of Ifa, you still didn't believe it. It was something like, damn, you know what? I can't, this doesn't make sense. When we have a concept of our own demise, our own destruction, and we're committed to that habitually, and then Ifa gives you something else to give you a ritual to transform your rituals. And in this sense, the Araba tree listened to what Ifa said and offered Abo. And when the Abo was performed, it might have seemed like nothing happened. But shortly thereafter, when the lumberjacks came and they had all of the tools to cut down all of the Araba trees, then Eshu Odara manifested himself. And he told the lumberjacks, hey, you don't want to cut down Araba tree. Araba tree's weak. Look at their bark. And indeed, Araba tree bark, it peels, it's soft. And he said, Eshu said, but look, these are the Iroko trees here. Iroko tree, that tree is very easy. And that tree is actually the best tree to use for all of your needs, building your homes, your firewood, everything. So what do you think the lumberjacks did? The lumberjacks that Iroko tree had called in the first place began to cut down all the Iroko trees. Your rituals are what create you. And last, Odu Ifa Oturameji. Ifa says, if you do good, you do so for yourself. If you are wicked, you do so for yourself. This was the Ifa cast for the blind man when going to beg for alms in Hausa land. He was advised to offer Abo. He complied. Not too long, join us in the midst of victory. Come and celebrate all array of life. So on this Ifa, the story behind it is there was a blind man who would, when he would beg for alms, he would say things like, as people would put money in his pouch as he was begging, he wouldn't say thank you. He would say, if you do good, you do good for yourself. If you do wickedness, you do wickedness for yourself. And everyone would come and they would give him money. So the king in this area got really, really angry and upset because, man, who is this broke something telling everybody, if you do good, you do good for yourself. If you do wickedness, you do wicked. He can't even say thank you. You know what? I'm going to fix him. And he devised the plan where he was going to destroy the blind man begging for alms. Although this blind man had already offered Abo. So as he devised this plan, the king decided he would take 2 cobras and put them inside of the bag for the blind man and give the blind man a gift and tell him it was some animals that he could use for food. So the king devised this plan, and as he was thinking of it, this his own wickedness. What also was reflected is that the king's child, the king's prince, was just as wicked because his father hadn't raised him correctly. His father hadn't given him any information that would aid in his success. So, as the king devised this plan and found the blind man and said, "Here, blind man, I give you a gift." And what did the blind man say to him? If you do good, you do good for yourself. If you do wickedness, you do wickedness for yourself. And in the process, he takes the gift and put it on his shoulder, and he was walking away. No sooner than when he got to the edge of town, the prince, the king's son, was like, "Man, why would my father give this broke, dusty blind man wealth? He put wealth inside that bag. You know what? I'm going to go and take my inheritance from this blind man." So the son of the king went and basically strong armed the blind man, beat him to a pulp, beat the brakes off of him, as we say. And as he beat the blind man, what did the blind man say? If you do good, you do good for yourself. If you do wickedness, you do wickedness for yourself. You know, and the king's son said, "Get out of here with that," and took the bag or the gift. And when he got to an area that he felt was safe, that no one saw him, he opened the bag, and without looking in, he reached inside, and both cobras bit him, and he died. What is Ifa saying here? Ifa is saying that you are the things that you ingest, the things that you put inside you ritualistically, spiritually, physically. If you put good things in you, if you put good rituals into the world, then you are doing it for yourself. If you choose to make bad choices, or if you choose to focus on revenge, if you choose to focus on anger, choose to focus on pain, you are doing it for yourself. The rituals, the abo that we do in Ifa, the main point is to fortify our spirits. No other purpose. It's not like, okay, I'm just gonna bling and make everything happen. No, Ifa supports us in radiating an energy or an aura that will then, after we've offered Ebo, we go out into the world, and the things that we need are in essence attracted to us. Why? Because we put in the work ritualistically. The main focus of offering Ebo, doing any sort of sacrifice, is to transform your mind. It is to rejuvenate and fortify your aura, to make you sensitive to the good things in the world. That's the only point behind the ritual work. But here's something even deeper. If we practice good character, the universe sees that as good naturedness. If we practice good character, then we find ourselves in alignment with Olodumare. The rituals, the ritual of good character. Make good character your ritual. If we practice good character and practice being an Omoluwabi, we then are in alignment with what God wants. So then when you think about all those negative people, those negative forces that might want to harm you, might want to take you off your path, might want to destroy you, might want to say all manner of evil things about your name, but you're doing good. You are doing what's right. You're doing what is correct. You are in alignment with what Olodumare wants, what God wants in this world, what God wants to happen in this world. You're in alignment with that. So when you find yourself in that space, any individual, anything, any illness, any person, any problem, any place, anything that has a problem with you doing good has a problem with the source of all good. They have a problem with Olodumare himself if they get in your way of doing what's right. They have an issue. Olodumare will take it as a personal offense when individuals try to work against you and you are putting good into the world. If you do good, you do so for yourself. If you do wickedness, you do so for yourself. As I close, I want to ask one question. What are your rituals? What are the rituals that make you up? What are the things that you do consistently? And once you analyze those things for yourself, I want you to analyze if your rituals are getting you where you want to be. Are you who you want to be? And when I say that, what I'm also saying, that the assumption, the presupposition is that you do want to live your best life. You do want to live your destiny. So, are your rituals carrying you to where you want to be? And if they are not, change your mind. Change your rituals. Change your habits. And you will change your life. Abora Boy, thank you so much for tapping in with us. So, with that, I want to thank you all on this first day of May. You know, I want to give shout out to so many people myself. You know, I could give shout outs. One, to my father, Robert Edmonds. I love you. It is well, tomorrow's his birthday. We're celebrating his birthday today, though. So, him and my mom, we're all going to hang out. So, everybody, shout out to my dad. You know, also on this first day of May, we will have Itarogun coming up in a couple of weeks. So those of you who want to participate in Itarogun, please tap in with us. You can go to the website, www.idinkaifatemple.com. Also, every third Thursday of the month, we do I do a not a class, it's more so a gathering, an online gathering, and soon we'll be moving it in person. And that gathering is called the Makings of Men, where we come together to basically develop men to make them stronger as part of this community. And we look to be working with women even more, but we want to get men in order as well. Also, every Friday night, we do a class called the Friday Night Ifa class. So we touch on various topics. So if you're interested, you can go online. We advertise on Facebook and Instagram, respectively. And as I said before, we're adding Clubhouse to the mix right now. Also, if you all like what you hear, you enjoy what you're hearing, please like, share, let folks know about what we're doing, because what we're doing is different and we're trying to reach more good people out there in the world. If you would like to donate, you can donate on the ticker that's going below. You can make donations at www.idinkaifatemple.com. All of those things, it would be perfectly fine to do that. We thank you so much for that. And we just look forward to doing much more good work in the community. We have some community abos that we want to focus on coming up very, very soon. So please be on the lookout for those things. And yeah, we've got a lot of things to work on. Oh, also at the end of this month, in Ado Ekiti, we will be having our Odun. So Odun Ifa for the Ifa of the year will be coming out of that pilgrimage. So with the grace of Olodumare, we get the opportunity to go. We would love to be there. Yes, yes, yes. So hopefully we can do that. But as I was saying before, that will be the Odu of the year will be coming out very soon. So we'll give you information on that and also give you information on where you can participate in offering the community elbow regarding the Odun Ifa. So please, please, please be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much. I think I want to defer somewhat to Clubhouse. Thank you so much, Baba Adegangan Balewa, for supporting me on our first time tapping into Clubhouse. Thank you so much. Hopefully it went well. I think it went well.
Okay. Yeah, it went great. It went great. Appreciate the word. It's always good listening, and you remind me of the old Southeast San Diego Baptist Methodist minister. You know what I mean? Our origins.
Ashe.
When moms and pops be pulling us by our ears to go to church. So I remember them days. I know you were a part of Bethel, right?
Yep.
Your family was.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that was right around the corner from my family church. So this is just a new age,
right,
of Ifa. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So we keeping it true to the roots and hopefully making our ancestors proud. I mean, that's all we can hope to do. I appreciate your good words.
All right, thank you so much, Baba. Thank you all so much. Thank you all on TikTok and everything. So we look forward to doing even more. So with that, I want to close with prayer. Olodumare, we thank you. We thank you so much for all the great things that you provided, for the success, the joy, helping us to find, follow, and fulfill our destiny. Olodumare, we thank you for this time. Help us to continue to create rituals and put good things into the world, to put good Ifa into the world. Help us to stay on point. We ask at this time that you would continue to help us to live our lives to the fullest and actualize our destiny so that we can be in alignment with what you want, so that we will have your absolute support. Thank you so much. May Olodumare bless all of us, and we'll see you in the next couple of weeks. All right, peace.